Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This is Beth Kozik from Elegant Greetings. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan. It's Saturday, October 1st, and it's time for our catalog copycat cards. And I'm so happy that you're here with me today. Hope you're having a great day so far. And we always start out our time together with reviewing what was made last time. I apologize for missing last Saturday. I was not feeling real great, so I basically kind of canceled my whole weekend and just rested. I just was not feeling wonderful, so I apologize for not being here, but we're back today, and the card that I made 2 weeks ago is this very cute note card. We used note card paper, which is already pre-scored and pre-cut, and the envelopes are already included. And we added some vellum. The vellum that we used is the Lovely Layers vellum, which is a new product, and it comes with all of these really fun designs. So the one that we used was the one with the polka dots on it, which is really cute. And vellum is really easy to work with. There's all kinds of designs in here and some clear ones as well, so we can either cut it or punch it or do different things with it. But it's really cool to use as a layer. It's like an opaque kind of a plastic style of paper. We actually stamped on this, and we can do that with water-based ink if we allow it to dry, and also we can heat set that with our heat tool. So it is possible to stamp on there. Of course, we can always use StazOn or other permanent inks on there, but we actually used water-based ink on this one. And then we stamped on the face of the card so that kind of that muted image shows right through the vellum. And then we added a real pretty tag and a little piece of ribbon, so a very simple note card. And these size cards can go through the mail, no problem. So let's go ahead and give away this card. And everyone who commented on Facebook and or YouTube is included in this the weekly raffle, so be sure to leave a comment so I can see who's watching. And I do appreciate all of your comments, so let's go ahead and give this away. All right, and our winner this week is Kristen. Thank you so much, Kristen. I appreciate you watching last time and everybody watching. So I'll get this in the mail to you right away. All right, this week's project, it's of course October, so the temperatures are starting to drop and fall is nearby. So I thought it would be fun to feature a really beautiful suite. We're in our mini catalog. And this suite is called the Rustic Harvest, pages 48 and 49. This has a lot of products included in the suite, so let's go ahead and take a peek at what's included. So the bundle, of course, is always on its own, 10% off. This one is called Hello Harvest. I just featured this at my September Stamp Your Way classes, so I will show the cards that we made from our classes, but it's an awesome set. There's some really pretty sentiments and features, this large pumpkin, and then this kind of bouquet of flowers. There's a leaf, another little flower. It's a very, very pretty stamp set, and there are 11, and it is a red rubber set. And that's just $23 on its own. And then the dies are Rustic Pumpkin dies. These are so awesome. There is the pumpkin cutout, which is here, so that correlates with this pumpkin stamp. There is this piece, which is the stem of the pumpkin. And then these two dies create, this is an actual pumpkin, and then this third piece, when these are cut in the embossing machine, they are die cut as well as embossed. So I'll show a card that we made using this, but these kind of get layered together so it gives the dimension of a real pumpkin. And then this is a really pretty sentiment outline, so we'll be using that today. This is the outline for the flowers, and then there's a leaf cutout and the flower cutout, and then there are these small like little viney kind of pieces, which make like vines for the pumpkin patch. So it's an awesome die set on its own, 32, and then the two together bundle price discount is $49.50. So that is the bundle. And then Also included here are these really fun, these are called Leaf Label and Amber Gem Combo Pack. So these are pictured right here at the top of page 49. And these are, they're only $8. How many in there? There are 50. There are 50 gems and 25 leaves. And these are so pretty. They are, they can be used as a tag. So there's a little hole in there. We can actually put a string through there. And they do show a project here on page 48 using one of those. So a little tag, it can be used to attach to a project or placed onto the front of a project. Very cute. Here we see they can be stamped on. One project I did, we actually brushed on, using our blending brush, I brushed on some ink color. We can kind of crumble the paper and open it back up so it kind of looks like a crumbled up, like a leaf that is actually drying out. So these are really, really fun. They're in the craft color paper. And then the gems that come along, I've used almost all of mine already, but there are 50, and they're these beautiful amber colored, kind of like an orangish yellow colored sparkly gems. So these can be placed right onto the leaves or onto our project. So we'll definitely be using some of those gems. And then the other parts of this suite include the designer series paper, which of course is always my favorite. And this pack is called Rustic Harvest. So of course, just gorgeous, beautiful harvest, fall, autumn colors. Look at this piece. This is absolutely beautiful. And this pack is just $12. So it's $1 a sheet because there are 12 sheets in every pack of our designer series paper. This one in particular, which we'll be using today for the project, it's just so, so pretty. It can be cut right in half. So our designer series paper is always economical because from this I can make 6 layers that would be top layers on a card. So this one piece alone, I could make 6 layers, which is awesome. And then here's one that's all pumpkins, and here's one that's kind of mimics that fleur, like the little scrolly pieces that are like the pumpkin in the pumpkin patch. And then here, this one has all kinds of gourds and different leaves and things that are very fall-like. So one side is all the harvest and fall colors. These are gorgeous. And then the other side is all black and white. So really interesting and fun. This is a really pretty one with the leaves. This could be, use a blender brush and color this in all different shades of autumn colors. This piece I love too. That is so pretty with the acorns and the oak leaves. So very, very versatile. And again, that's called the Rustic Harvest Designer Series paper. And then the other parts, we have 2 more to go here. An entire pack of basic black 12 by 12 cardstock. So on its own, it's $8. And black, of course, is awesome for Halloween projects, for kind of like things that are dramatic. And it correlates really nicely with the black and white side of that designer series paper. So again, 12 by 12 cardstock. And then the last part of the suite is the Embossing Editions Toolkit. So this is how it looks, and this is just $27. It has these really wonderful, flexible, like spring-loaded, I guess they would be, tweezers. So these are awesome for holding on to something, a project, or a little piece of something if we need to heat set it. And then the brush, so we can brush the embossing powder away if we need to. The embossing buddy, which is just like a rosin kind of a little bag, and that removes all the static from our paper. So we just brush that over our cardstock before we add the embossing powder to it. And then this really wonderful tray. So that catches all of our embossing powder, and then it now has a screw off cap so we can easily pour the powder or whatever medium we're using back into its container. So, all right, this entire suite is $104.50. So very large suite of products and really wonderful. So I really love this. All the colors and everything are just so pretty. The project we'll be making today is right here on page 48. and it's this one in the middle. So we're going to be doing a little bit of die cutting to cut out the sentiment. We're also going to be doing some dry embossing with an embossing folder to make the top layer on this card, and then a little bit of fringing of ribbon. I'm going to show how to do that. And basically the designer series paper basically just makes that card super easy. It's really, really pretty and colorful. So let's go ahead and get started. So the products we're going to need, of course, will be our stamp. So I have the Wishing You the Loveliest Day stamp. And then the die will be the coordinating die. So this will cut out that piece after we stamp it. And then I have my adhesives, dimensionals, I have black memento ink, and I have our Stamp and Seal Plus. The embossing folder that was used is called Painted Texture. So this was from our mini catalog from about 1.5 years ago. And it is it's part of that art gallery suite, which is so awesome. So it just makes kind of a like an abstract kind of a look. So that's going to make a really interesting layer of texture. So I have that ready. And then our cardstock colors are rich razzleberry. So I have 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a top piece here, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5. So that will be our embossed piece for the top layer. And then this is our piece of designer series paper. So I simply cut this down, and the dimension here is 3.5 by about 5 1/4. So this will be our focus of the project. Just so pretty. And then this is another piece of the designer series paper, and this is what I'm actually going to stamp the sentiment and cut it out from. All right, I think we are ready to begin here. So let's start with our stamping. And I'm using black memento ink. And we'll just ink this up here. Okay, and just stamp this right in the middle so our sentiment will actually have a nice pattern behind the black ink. There we go. Oh, that looks so pretty. Very nice. I love that. Okay, and then I think our next step is already to do our die cutting and our dry embossing. So I'm going to bring in my die cutting and embossing machine, and we'll do this die cut first. So I'm just going to use some Post-it notes to secure this down, and our dies fit right over our stamped image. There's a little bit of it does leave a little bit of a border, so I'm lining up the actual lines that I stamped, and those show through the center part of the die. But then when the die is cut, the paper is cut, it will leave a small border all the way around the actual piece of paper. So I'll show you how that works. So for our die cutting, we need our base plate, which is number 1, our platform. We need our shim, which is plate number 2, and then we need a clear plate number 3, which is this one here, and then another clear plate number 3 over it. So I'll go ahead and run that through my machine. Okay, let's see how that turned out. And I like to use the Post-its because that keeps it secure and doesn't allow the paper to move while it's being cut. So there we go. See how it makes that nice border all the way around? I really like how that looks. Okay, and then our next step will be to do our embossed piece, which we're going to use the folder to do. So I'm going to take away my shim and also the cutting plate. And for this is a 3D folder, which means that it is going to give a very deep impression in the cardstock. So we don't need all of the plates because the folder itself is quite thick. So we only need our base platform. And again, we always feed in the hinged edge of the folder goes into the machine first. So, and then we need this, which is plate number 4. This is a specialty plate, and that is used along with our embossing folders, and we don't need to have any other plates except for that one. So let's run that through the machine. I'm just cranking it through nice and easy. Super simple to do embossing this way. And then let's see how our piece turned out here. Oh, look how gorgeous that is. Really pretty. Okay, so I'll move all of these out of the way. And this can be used in either direction. So whichever way I want the embossed parts to show, it can be kind of convex or concave, whichever. So I think I'll use it in this direction here, which is really, really pretty. All right, and I think it's already time to assemble here. Very, very quick and easy card to put together. So I'll begin by gluing on this front piece. And I'm just using the green glue. It's nice and easy. And then that's going to go right on the face of the card. It's exactly the same size as the front of the card. So what I like to do when putting on a piece that's exactly the same size as the card front is I kind of just put it upright and make sure that I have the bottom section exactly aligned with the bottom of the card. So that way I know it's going to be exactly even. And I'm actually going to fold this in half at this point with my bone folder. Okay, that looks awesome. Oh, and the one thing I kind of forgot already was the ribbon we're going to use here. This is the brand new natural finish ribbon. It's a very pretty, kind of just a matte. It feels like it's probably like a cottony kind of a ribbon. It has a weave to it, so it's really a nice accent for this fall. All these fall colors gives a little bit of a contrast. So all I'm going to do is cut a length here like this. And then I'm going to remove the spine. So this is going to be an easy ribbon that will very easily fray, which is what we want. So I'm just going to cut off as straight as I can here. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit crooked. We can always straighten it out later. I'm cutting off the edge here, which is the edge that holds it all together. And I featured this at my classes, this something similar to this at my classes this month, where we use this actual ribbon. So this I can keep or pitch. It could be tied around something if I wanted, but for the moment here, I'm just going to bring in a piece of scrap paper, because I'll have all these little pieces of the ribbon. And basically all we're going to do is just pull away these fibers that are in the vertical, like the length of the ribbon itself. And what we want to expose then, it will be like all this fringe on the edge. So this happens to be a very easy ribbon. Most ribbons we can do this with. Some are a little more finicky if it has that real strong edge where sometimes they bind up as they're being pulled. But see how we're just pulling that apart and we end up with this nice fringy edge here. So it's going to give some texture. These are all sticking to my fingers. It'll give some nice texture as a kind of an accent on this card, and just a nice easy way to use ribbon in a different way. So I really like adding things like this to my cards just to kind of change it up a little bit. So I'm just gently pulling. They're so easily coming off. And I have maybe like about maybe almost half an inch of fringe or so far. So all right, I'm going to be a little extra careful with this end because it could all come unraveled. But basically that is all that needs to happen with this. So I'll just trim off these little extra guys here, give it a little haircut, and then give this a haircut here. Okay, and then this end too, I'm going to cut away. All right, now we'll go back to our card. Let me get this out of the way. All right, so this needs to be added as on the left side. It's just going to show a little bit like this on our designer series paper. So I want to add adhesive here. So I'm just going to bring in my silicone craft mat and make sure I have the right side of my paper exposed so I can add my adhesive. I'm using Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'll just add a line of that along the edge. And then I'll lay down my ribbon. This is so easy to do. And then I'm going to lay down this piece of designer series paper, and all that adhesive is going to catch onto the ribbon and secure it in. There we go. That was easy. And then we have this nice little fringe kind of accent. I love that. All right, and then this is going to be attached to our card. It doesn't look like it's popped up at all with dimensional, so I think I'll just do it with my green glue and keep it flat. And I'm going to glue right over the edge of that ribbon so that is secure. And then it looks like they kind of offset this a little bit, so I will put that over to the right a little more than to the left. That looks good. All right, and then we have dimensionals. We'll pop up our sentiment. And these are dimensionals that come from Paper Pumpkin. So most every Paper Pumpkin kit that comes every month has dimensionals in it. So of course those are included with the kit, and I always have leftovers. So these are always good to have on hand. And then our sentiment is going to be placed down here like this. Very pretty. All right, and then our last step will be to add those amber gems, and just moving this stuff out of the way here. So these are pretty. I'm just going to add a few. There are about 5 on the project, but I think I'll add a few less than 5 because they're very sparkly. I just like a little bit of bling, not a ton. So maybe we'll do a big one down here. And then I love these because they're 2 different sizes. And then maybe one up there. And then maybe one more down there. Okay, that looks really awesome. I love this card. So very quick and easy. And we're finished. So let's bring in the catalog. And so there's the catalog version. And then here's my version. So again, just really beautiful. The layers, the texture. I love how that embossing folder adds to behind the paper. The paper itself is so pretty, just easily makes a beautiful card. Nice sentiment, a little bit of shimmer. Let me show you some of the other cards that are made with this suite. So these are the cards I made with our September Stamp Your Way class. So those who selected, this was the one card we made. So again, I used a green cardstock, added that paper, a little bit of a sentiment, a ribbon, an extra piece here on the edge for a little bit of an accent color. So that was their first card. Here's our second card, and what we did is here is that pumpkin that I showed with the 2 dies. So these dies right here make this pumpkin, and so I cut it out of our white cardstock, and then we hand cut out the gourds and the pumpkins from the one piece of designer series paper. These are the new they're called tailored tags dies, so something brand new to my collection, and I just cut that out of some gold or and maybe it was the copper foil paper, and then that black and white paper for the front. Just beautiful. And then here's a card. I always like to make a card that is a little bit off, different colors that would not be typical. So I went completely rogue and I used a different designer series paper, but the hello from the stamp set, and then these little flowers are from the stamp set, and then this is one of the little curly dies that are from the die set. So just an easy way to kind of change things up with a whole different color palette. And then this card is so pretty. I did copy this from a swap that I received, and it's kind of a book style, I guess it's called. So we added this accent on the left, and then we secured down that part of the card so only part of the card opens. So kind of like a book binding, but beautiful. Here's the pumpkin cut out. All of the flowers are colored and cut out, and then the sentiment. So those were the 4 cards featured at my class, and my classes every month are very much, that's kind of indicative of my style and what I offer. And there's always 3 different classes to choose from, so this happened to be the Hello Harvest one. So here's another one that I made. This has a really pretty embossing folder that made the background. And then here's a swap card I received. Again, that sentiment. This one is all embossed with gold embossing powder. Really, really pretty. Very sparkly. Here's another one with that pumpkin. So fun. And then here's one I made again with the color is like way off. But I just, very simple, kind of a fun fold card with some different embossing or designer series paper. Oh, here's another one that features the leaf, and there's the gem that kind of hides that hole. Beautiful embossing that was done on the front of there. Oh, I love that one. So pretty. Here's another one with the pumpkin and the flowers, and that's the back side of one of the papers. So really pretty. And then here's another one with all these leaves cut out. So it's an awesome suite. The bundle is wonderful. There's lots of different things that can be done with this. So if interested in that, our host code this month is BQY4KSBF. So wow, lots of letters in that one this time. So if interested, please order using that host code, and hopefully you love this project as much as I do. If you're interested in possibly winning that card, please do leave a comment on Facebook or on YouTube. Let me know what you think. I always love to hear from everybody. Okay, I think that is it for today. So thank you again for joining me. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.